All right, guys, thanks a lot for stopping by Moo Dogs, Frugal RCs, and more. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of the PROMARK GPS Shadow drone. We're going to be taking it up in the air, rolling in some video footage from the drone itself, going over some of the functionality of the application, doing a follow me test and a return to home, and just basically seeing what this thing can do. And I'm going to give you my final assessment at the end. All right, guys, a lot of this is going to be a rehash from the part 2 video, but we're going to go through it again. We're out in the field now, get ready to fly this. The first thing we're going to do is turn on the power to the quadcopter. And I'll go ahead and do that right now. And you'll see all the lights are lit up on the bottom. We're flashing red. Set that down in front here, and the next thing we're going to need to do is power up our transmitter and get the quadcopter bound with the transmitter. Very important to do this in steps, and there is a tutorial in the app, and I'll show you guys that in just a second. So I'll go ahead and turn the power on the transmitter, and then we're going to go ahead and get this thing bound while the camera is setting itself. And binding the transmitter is nothing more than just simply up and down on the throttle. So I'll go ahead and do that. And the transmitter is now bound to the quadcopter, making sure we do this in order. So now the next thing we're going to do is the calibrating the gyros, and that's going to be up and out. So 1 and 11 o'clock on the sticks. Now we're going to go in to get the calibration ready for the GPS, and that's going to be at 1 and 11 respectively, left and right. At this point, we're going to get ready to go ahead and get the Wi-Fi hooked up from our device to the quadcopter and get the app started. So stay tuned for that in just a second, guys. All right, guys, I'll show you how to get this thing hooked up to your Wi-Fi. So open up our Wi-Fi here, and we'll see that it's already up on there, and it has been connected before, so it should connect automatically. And once that does that, we'll go ahead and fish for the app through my list here. I don't have it on my home screen yet, but we're looking for PROMARK GPS, and it's right there. So go ahead and click on that. And now I wanted to show you guys briefly here. There is a tutorial step by step on what you need to do to get this drone working correctly. So many guys will bypass this stuff or not even know it's there and then complain that their drone's not working or something's not happening the right way. There's a reason that these things are laid out in steps. This is the way you need to set this drone up before you take it up in the air. Otherwise, you're not going to have a good experience with this, and you're going to be making complaints that maybe aren't warranted. So just keep an eye on this, and if you have questions on it, refer to this. It's all there. So now we're going to go ahead and get this app up and running here. So sorry about there we go. So now we're going to go, there's a quick layout there. So we're going to click on controls next. And that's going to take us to our compass, our GPS dance calibration. So we'll start that next. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, the compass dance was basically covered in the last video. And that's just nothing more than following the prompts on the screen in the app. Right now, everything's bound up. All of our satellites are in place right now. Everything shows up on the app screen, so you'll know you have the satellites, and you'll have a ready to fly message on the bottom left of the app. And I don't have that up on here right now, but let's go ahead and get this thing taken off and in the air real quick now, and we'll get her doing some flying. So you can see now the drone is not toilet bowling. Take it up a little bit higher here. It's flying pretty nicely. It stays locked pretty good. So this just basically says that it's got a good quality GPS module in it, and it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is very, very nice. And so we're going to go ahead and take this up a little bit higher, go up and out a little ways. And I'm going to start rolling some video footage in at the end of this part of the review. And we'll go ahead and take it up. And beautiful day today. Clouds in the sky, but it's a nice cloud cover. Good contrast for the drone. And we're going up there a little bit now, guys. I'm actually going to stop and hover a couple times just to make sure she's still locked in. And I hope you can see it up there yet, but it's up there. And we're moving out a little bit further. I'm just going to kind of let it hover around. So, there's a lot of companies out there making drones nowadays, guys that make claims that they can do this, that, or the other thing. And I'm not bashing on SEMA. I own many SEMA, a couple SEMA drones actually. I have one with me today at the field. I plan on flying after this review, just for fun. And they make a good quadcopter. They did try to build something on this order, a GPS drone, which was their SEMA X8 Pro. It was a total flop, unfortunately. Something in there between their GPS and the actual magnetic properties of the motor. I'm not quite sure what happened with that, but they were selling that one. They're still selling it, actually. So this is kind of an alternative to that, as far as I'm concerned. But this actually has the dual GPS functionality, where you can actually do the follow me with this. And we're going to be looking at that in just a minute or two. Right now we're just kind of tooling around the air here, and we're out there a little ways. Has an amazing range, guys. I haven't done the complete range test on this yet, but it does have good controllability, even way up there. I had it up about 300 feet today, which would be about 90 meters or so, and no problems with connectivity, no problems with responsiveness, anything like that. I did have an issue today, though, however, and I will mention that the camera gimbal was not okay. Now we're doing a return to home here, so let's go ahead and see how this acts. And quite impressed with this, actually. It came back within about a meter of where it took off from. So not very pinpoint accuracy of, like, say, a DJI Phantom, but you're still looking at within a meter's distance, which I think is pretty good for a $120 a toy grade drone. Not bad at all, actually. And I'm going to go up and take a look there and just make sure that it's going to come down, not land in a tree somewhere. So we're kind of looking for it there, and it's coming down. It's amazing when you're out flying drones at the park like this and you get people coming by and asking questions, and you're going to see some footage a little bit later on in the video here of a couple riding by on bicycles, and one is pointing to the other saying, look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Kind of funny. It's actually kind of entertaining to see the oohs and the ahs and get the questions. But this is one such quad that's worthy of that, and you can actually, and I'm looking over there, so we'll take another look in a second, and you'll see one guy on the bike in the back pointing. There he goes, pointing up in the air. There it comes. You can see it coming down now. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of concerned that while the winds weren't that great, that the accuracy of the GPS might not be, the best, and we may end up landing in a tree. But that was not the case. It came down, and it's still descending now, and we're going to be landing, like I said, probably about, I would say maybe a meter, 2 meters away from the actual takeoff point, which would have been the landing pad there, but not too shabby altogether. I think it did a pretty good job, pretty respectable for what it is. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. I have really nothing bad to say about it at all. It's still about 50% battery power on here yet. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and get it back up in the air, and I'm going to test the follow me function on here. Now this is a dual GPS, so in other words, not only will it connect with satellites and have that nice GPS lock for hovering, but it will also communicate with your wireless device via the app, and have kind of a follow me mode. In other words, you can set your camera angle facing you or whatever subject you want it to follow. Obviously, it's going to follow who's ever holding the device. And you do action shots that way. And while I didn't do an extensive test on this, the short test that you're going to see coming up here actually did work. So we'll go ahead and roll that in just a second here. I have it up, and we're going to be hitting the following mode any second now, and you'll be able to see that this quad does follow. Now here we go. So now we're moving from side to side, and you can see that the quadcopter is moving right along with us and going back the other way. We're going to walk over this way now, and I'll pan back to the quad again. Let's see. There we are, and there we are by the quad, and we're going to move back this way. And I think I actually started running, waving to it, and it's following us, guys. It's doing what it says it's supposed to do. Again, I didn't walk across the field or anything like that, but it actually does what it says it's supposed to do. So without any other testing, I think this is a pass. I give this a passing grade right here. So now we're actually going to be taking it back up again, a little bit farther out, and we are going to do some flying around, just for fun. And I think we're going to do a return to home coming up shortly here. But so now we're going back up again. You can see it's in the highest speed rate right now, and it climbs pretty good. It's a climber. Here's where we're hitting about the 90 or so meter range. I didn't have it maxed out today because there are some people in the park, and I wanted to make sure I could see it at most all times. We had some hawks circling around the quad, probably not in this video, but I did have a couple of hawks in the area that were eyeballing my SEMA when I was flying that. Unfortunately, I didn't get any in the video for the PROMARK, but so that's kind of interesting. I've seen plenty of videos where these hawks and eagles will actually snatch the quads out of the sky and destroy them. But didn't have that happen today, which is a good thing. Kind of glad about that. But now we are actually going to be doing a little kind of a multiple test here. There is a feature on this drone where if the battery gets to a certain level, the quadcopter will come back into range of view. In other words, it will come back within your sight. So if the battery gets down to a certain level, the quad will sense that. It will set a parameter or set something in the electronics that tells the quad to move closer to where you are, so you're in eyesight of it, which is, I think, is a cool thing. And I'll correct that if I misspoke that. It does have a feature that does bring the quad back to you. I think if the battery gets critically low, the quad will go into a return to home function and actually come back and land. We're not going to experience that today, but you will see in just a little bit here, the quadcopter will be coming back toward me, and I'm thinking it's going to land, and it basically just hovers about 10 or so meters above me, maybe 15 meters above me, and about maybe, I don't know, 10 or so meters away distance or more, maybe a couple more than that. But it's actually in eyesight of from where I am, and which is kind of reassuring. Another fail-safe on this quad, which I think is pretty cool. SEMA, and again, I'm going to keep going back to SEMA. I'm a big fan of their product. I wish they would have got it right, because they could have had something that could have been as successful as this quad right here. Again, this is a SJRC built quadcopter, and just marketed under PROMARK, and also Holystone puts out the same model of this quad. Pretty much all doing the same thing. Major differences, again, being the app software is going to look a little different. Functionality of the quad is the same, though. So now we're going to see the quadcopter come back into view in just a second here. It's up there like a speck right now, but we'll see it coming back into view in just a couple of seconds here. And here's where I'm starting to think, well, now this battery is getting low. I can see it on the transmitter on the app that the battery is getting low. What's going to happen with this quad? Is it going to land? What's exactly going to happen? But it actually does come back into view and just kind of hovers there, kind of saying, hey, I'm getting low on juice here. I don't want to fly too far away from you. I want you to be able to see me. Here I am. And pretty soon here we'll be able to see it. You can see it starting to come down now, right next to that little patch of clouds if I keep looking up there. And I apologize for all the jerkiness with the new head cam thing going on here, but it'll get better as time goes. Now you can see beautiful cloud cover, and there it is. It's a little black dot coming down there, And I'm thinking, okay, it's going to land over here because it probably recognizes the new point of landing or a new point of GPS point as being the point where I initiated the follow me function. Not the case. So it's just basically going to hover in that spot right about there until I go ahead and finish the return to home function. And that's coming up shortly here. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing back in because the battery is low at this point, and we don't want to press fate any more than we have to. So now I did hit the return to home, and it's coming down now. And let's see if it lands on the same spot it took off from, or the same spot it thinks it took off from. And it is. I mean, it's within like 2 meters or 2.5 or so meters from actually 1 meter. 1 meter would be 30 feet, right? Or 30 some feet. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, guys, but it looks like it landed in the same spot it thinks it took off from, the same spot it landed before. So far, guys, nothing bad to say about this quad, especially considering that it is on sale right now, both on ProMark's website, and I picked this up at Walmart, like you guys might know already, for $120 on sale. For 120 bucks, even for the full cost of 179, I think it's a bet. The camera gave me a little bit of issue today with the articulation not really working too well. I'll have to take a look at that servo. Maybe there's something that's just stuck in the servo. But I think it's a pretty good bet for all things considered. There's a couple gripes, and I'll go over those in a little bit. But I think if you guys are looking for a good entry-level GPS drone, don't want to break the bank, this is one to look at. Definitely. SJRC makes a good product. This is out of China, obviously, but I think that, you really can't go wrong, obviously. So I'm going to give my final thoughts in just a second here, guys. So just bear with me a couple more minutes, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, one thing I wanted to touch on that is an extra added kind of bonus in this package with the Shadow drone is the included virtual reality goggles. Now, these are average grade, I guess, goggles, nothing to really write home about, but the fact that they're including them in the package for $120, what's actually a sale price, but even at $189 or $199, I think is a great value, everything considered. So essentially what you have here is your adjustable head strap. Now, you would wear these like you would any other virtual reality goggles for gaming or whatever. It's kind of the same idea. You would insert your phone in the top here. This pops open, and then your wireless device. Once you're on the app, and I don't have it on right now, but I kind of give you a little tutorial. Once you're on the app, you would actually go up on the top of the app. You're going to see icons up on top of the actual GPS app for this drone, and you're going to hit VR. Once you hit VR, do like a split screen, and then you go ahead and you insert your phone inside the cavity right here. So obviously you're going to have to orient it the right direction, and then this would snap shut. You would put this over your head after you made the adjustments. This fits over the eyes. There are adjustments up on top here, guys, for distance. So if your eyeballs are closer together or farther apart, that would actually move these in or out to kind of get you a better focus. Decently made. I mean, there's not, like I said, nothing really to write home about. And I will try these out and do a review on them going forward. But there's a multitude of different brands of these out on the market. This one just happens to have the ProMark VR on it. The same goggles, I believe, that you would get if you purchase the other drone from ProMark, the VR model. You're going to get the same goggles with that. So that's kind of a nice little added bonus there. Check it out. I'm going to be doing a review, so watch for that. All right, guys, final verdict time. I think for everything that I've discovered about this quadcopter, the fact that it's coming in at about $120 on a deal right now, even at $189, there is another variant out there right now, guys, that's 280 bucks. Now you're paying for some of that cost gets absorbed into really good customer service. I've dealt with PROMARK now on a couple occasions. They've been really good to me. They've been pretty fast to respond. I've heard other people say that PROMARK as a company isn't all there yet as far as their customer service. I haven't had any problems. The only thing that I could say negative about this quadcopter kit here is the fact that the battery. So you're dealing with one battery here when you get the kit. This battery is charged by micro USB in the front. It takes 6 hours, guys, to charge for about a 12-minute flight time. And that last flight was right around 11.25 or 11 and a quarter minutes for a 6-hour charge. That's the only problem I'm having with the whole idea of this quadcopter. Now, I mentioned before that there are some workarounds for that. There is a way that you can rig up a cable coming from a hobby charger to actually charge this battery a lot quicker. And I plan on doing that, and once I do, I will make a video and put that up on my channel. But for now, I think all said and done, this is a great value, guys. $120, even at $180, like I mentioned before, you're still getting a GPS hold quadcopter with all that functionality, an app that has all that telemetry telling you distance, height, wind, airspeed, the speed of the travel of the aircraft. You can set geofencing on it for beginners. You can set geofencing on it. It has a 1,500-foot range. I haven't tested that yet, but I had it up there quite a bit. I had it probably about almost 300 feet up, and it was still very responsive even at that height. Everything said and done, everything out in the wash, I give it a 2 thumbs up. At $120, you cannot go wrong. Check out PROMARK's website, $99 plus shipping on this quad. It's going to come with everything you saw in my first video. Really nothing more to say about this other than, thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you for supporting my channel. I really appreciate all of you, especially in this time now where I'm trying to grow my channel. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you get all of my content coming forward. I want to thank you again, all my new subscribers, and we'll see you all in the next one. God bless the Republic.